Hey, I'm David. I live in Silicon Valley. I used to design applications and feeling a little manic right now. So I thought I would share with you how I'm working through developing some more applications. When I do it, I like to start with who the hell I want to help, right? And what are they doing now and what do they want or need to do? And I think to myself, can a tool serve to help their wants or needs, and what benefit might it offer? Next, what I do is I start to brainstorm and look for features and benefits that might happen for a certain user type. And I try to think about real people as I'm doing this and what they want and need. I'm open minded. I just keep writing down whatever comes to mind as potential features and benefits, and I try to do so with no judgment. Oh, that's shitty, or oh, that's great. I just try to let it flow. And I might sit with that for a day or a week. In this case, it was pretty much these ideas came together in a day. After I do that and I have a sense of what it is, I do a first draft of it. So that's kind of like my third step. I give it a descriptive name, something pretty basic, and I do so without regards to the availability of that name or any trademark issues. It's, to keep me kind of understanding what it is. Then I do user-centered simple descriptions. So that is like what you might find in the App Store. But I try to target specific users. So if an application has a user that is in this case, a social worker, and on the other side is a patient, I think about what the user, the patient, and the social worker want, and I do one sentence of what the potential application is for both of those users. After I do that, I start with mock-ups. I like paper and pencil because it's quick. I start mocking up screens and do quick user experience progressions. I like Post-it 3x5s. They work for mobile app design, or you can also use a 8.5x11 binder and do like two screens for mobile app design. Or you could do if you're doing iPad design, one screen per page for that. But it's quick. It's not supposed to be pretty. It's supposed to be descriptive and functional, right? So that, oh yeah, I can look at that and I can see that there's this feature, an option. I'm going to potentially press here because it says if you want blank, press here. So really simple mock-ups. With step 4, I really try to empathize. I try to put myself into the user's shoes and empathize with the user's experience. So I'll look at the mock-ups and I will empathize with different user types, and I'll ask myself or say to myself, the blank user type wants to do blank. Can I do that from wherever I'm at on my screen flow? How would I do that? And, does it make sense, right? I always use the term super simple, right? Super simple. The other piece of it is, as I'm laying out these various screens or these mock-ups, I'm asking myself, can the user get what they want in 2 steps? Nobody wants to do anything more than 2 steps. If I'm on Netflix, I want to find a movie and watch a movie. I want 2 steps to watch a movie. I don't want 3 or 4. Anyway, if you have to do it, if it takes 3 steps, it's not going to work. And then I ask myself, what else might this user type want when they are doing blank? And I really try to empathize with the user, right? Try to put myself in a user's shoes, in their perspective. Next, for number 5, what I do is I clean up those mock-ups. So I've done some mock-ups, I've looked at the screen flows. By this time, for me, this is maybe several hours of effort and focus, maybe a full day. And now I've got 4 or 5, maybe more than that, screens, mock-ups that a user would be using. And I clean those up, and I clean up my user-centered simple description that I did earlier. Now that I've had some time to work on it, maybe my description that I started with is a little bit different. Maybe I've found some additional benefits or so forth. So I clean that up and I get ready for user testing. So that quick, I'm thinking about getting feedback from real people. And I've invested maybe at this point, a day of work and effort and 0 money. So with the user test, I try to get users of the user type that I have. So in the case before, I said patients and therapists. But if I don't have them, I ask friends to pretend that they're a therapist who works with patients. Like, ask my friends to empathize with the user as they're giving me feedback. Then I try not to say too much. I present the simple description, which we just refined, and then I listen and see if there's any feedback from the simple description. Then I present the mock-ups and I listen, and I try to get any feedback they might give from the simple mock-ups. I try to resist the urge to share my brainstorm and my big ideas, because this is only 5 features, but I got 20 features that I planned out, and it's going to be great. Or I see that this is going to change the world, blah, blah. Try not to do that. I take notes, and I listen for those things like, did you think of, or what would, what would be great is if you, or, my friend always, right? Listening for those, because those are great tips and feedback that they offer without even knowing it. Then I ask a lot of open-ended questions, not a lot of open-ended questions, but open-ended questions like, if you were a therapist in practice and needing to do blank, what would you like to do? I also find that if for your mock-ups, if you want to do digital images on your phone, right? Each time they touch something on your phone, you just change to that screenshot in the gallery, right? And give them that as the next one. If you do the Post-it version, right? You just put that next Post-it in front of them. And you can ask them, when you tried to do the action, when you tried to press here, what would you think that the therapist would want to do? Because they might offer other features, right? Like with Google Maps, when I select a location, do I want to just drive there, or do I want to see their menu? Right? The menu option comes out of, when I find a place, I might want to, press and get the menu. Number 7 is what I do is I review the user test for the different user types. And at this point, I highlight the fact that right now, I'm not invested much. I've invested maybe a day or a week of effort to get to this point. And one of my mottos is fail quick and fail big. If it sucks, put it on the shelf and move on. No need to invest months or tens of thousands of dollars in development to fail months from now, right? Fail big and fail quick. And then those shelved ideas, they can develop and mature if you let your brain do passive inquiry. And maybe 2 months from now, you have an aha moment of how it might work way better. But, fail big and fail quick. And last thing that I'll say is with user feedback that you got from the testing, as you're reviewing the testing, listen for those new user scenarios, or adding and removing things from the features and the benefits. Or maybe the user sees that the core user scenario is very different than what you thought. And the example I came up with is maybe I'm going to create a tool that allows people to read movie reviews from other users and share those with their friends. And that's what I think Netflix is, right? And then another user comes and says, no, you know what I think Netflix should be is I should find a movie and then just be able to watch it. I could care less about reading all the reviews, sharing them with friends and so forth. Oh, that's the core user scenario. And then go from there. All right. That gets you what you can do in a week to get a good start on developing a new tool, whether it's a mobile app or other type of tool. Thanks. Or you're welcome. I guess you're welcome.